We're here on the Swimming from Home talk show. I'm here with Todd DeSorbo, head coach of University of Virginia. So last time that SwimSwam spoke with you was at the men's and women's ACC meet. Can you give me just a quick rundown of how you felt about those competitions?
Yeah, sure. I think we were really pleased with how both teams performed at ACCs. We set some goals early in the season for both teams, and both teams were able to accomplish, what we set out to do. So the women, the goal was to win, and also we had a little bit more of a goal, not so much to win. We didn't necessarily set out to win ACCs. It was more we wanted to outperform the best that this program has ever done at ACCs. And so we knew what the highest point total for any team at ACCs was since they expanded to scoring out 3 heats and finals. And so the goal was to try to score more points than ever before. And if we did that and we won, great. If we didn't do that if we did it and lost, then there's not a whole lot you can do about it. But, we were able to accomplish that. And then on the men's side, we've been third for the last couple of years. So our goal was just to try to move up, and narrow the gap a little bit on NC State, who has won the last several titles. And we were able to accomplish that as well. So definitely overall, generally as a team, able to accomplish everything we set out to.
Yeah. So then I guess moving forward from those meets, can you take me through kind of how the next week went for you and your squad?
You mean after ACCs?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess I think it was a little over a week, because we got back. The women had been in the water. The women were back in the water for 3 weeks post ACCs before,
Right.
All these changes and challenges came down the pipeline. So, training had been going really well. Both teams are getting pretty excited about NCAAs and what they could potentially accomplish. And then the third week of training for the women, so the second week for the men, which was the week before women's NCAAs. That's when everything started changing a little bit, obviously. Hold on one second.
No worries.
This is not everybody's at home.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, madness everywhere. That early that week, the university first had said we were going to go to online classes, and that was going to be for the foreseeable future. And, to that point, we were still going to be able to train. We were still going to NCAAs, but that was kind of the first indication that things were really changing, obviously. Yeah. And, we started kind of going double time or overtime working on, we were on spring break at that point. So who was going to come back from spring break, just trying to figure out the whereabouts of everybody that wasn't currently training with us at the moment. We also went to overdrive on changing travel plans to NCAAs because we were going to fly, and then we changed to busing. And it was just it was about 3 days, 72 hours of complete madness between like Monday and Thursday. And then, and so every day, I think this is pretty standard for everybody around the country right now. Every day you wake up and something new is happening, and something new challenge is arising. And, you're just dealing with something new, more cancellations, it's just wild. So, fast forward to that Thursday, that's when, we started getting some athletes, quote unquote, starting to freak out that NCAAs was going to be canceled.
Yeah.
So Thursday that was the day that the ACC came out and said they were pulling the plug on all sports, and nobody, they're stopping all training, all practicing. And that was before the NCAA came out and said they were canceling. So that notification came out at 3:00 on Thursday, a week ago today. And, we had a practice scheduled for 3:30 that afternoon. So instead of having practice, we just had a big team meeting and discussed the situation and the fact that NCAAs for us was canceled. And then shortly thereafter, the NCAA came out and said they're canceling everything as it is. So nobody was going. So it wasn't like it was just UVA that wasn't going to get to go, or just the ACC conference that wasn't going to get to go. I mean, at that point, as well as I do, teams are pulling out left and right. And, and then the NCAA ended up finalizing all that and just canceling everything. So
Mhm.
that was a rough period to say the least. Dealing with just the disappointment and frustration, and everybody knowing that was for the best and it was the right decision, and respecting that and supporting that, but also just knowing that it's over, and they weren't going to really going to have the opportunity to let the fruits of their labor shine, at the end of the season.
Yeah. What, as much as you would like to, what is it that you kind of discuss with the team in that meeting?
Honestly, it was a pretty brief meeting. Brief. I mean, I don't even know how long it lasted, 15, 30 minutes. I can't even remember. Time kind of flew. And at that point, things had happened so fast and quickly, and things were changing, hour to hour, that, I just didn't have a lot of answers for them. And there wasn't a whole lot of, a whole lot I could offer them, as far as, there wasn't a whole lot I could say that was going to make anything better at that point. And it was kind of like everybody at that point was in scramble mode of what they were going to do. Were they going to go home? Where were they going to stay?
Mm-hmm.
And that continued to change, hour to hour as well. So, I think the biggest message we sent to them was that, we were fortunate enough to get our ACC championship. Not necessarily everybody on our team didn't get to peak, but there are a lot of sports out there who wouldn't even, the spring sports aren't even going to get their conference championships, let alone a regular season. They should be proud of everything they accomplished this year. We talked about it all year. The team's making history as far as UVA goes, and being the best teams in the history of our program. And, ironically enough, we kind of created and made history all year, and now we're a part of history, because in 5 or 10 years, everybody's going to be reading about this in their history books. And we're just going to try to make the most of a tough situation and move forward, and, just hope that this passes, sometime in the near future, and things can get back to normal whenever that is.
Yeah. So what, I guess, from last Thursday to this Thursday, is campus closed? Is everyone home?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's been wild, because, again, day to day, it's something new. So I'm sending out communications to the team every day, sometimes twice a day, and it's like I'm sending them a new message every time I'm talking to them, because of everything that is shutting down and everything that is changing, minute to minute, hour to hour. Campus is pretty much shut down. I mean, they've asked everybody to go home. We've gone to online classes for the rest of the semester. At first, it was just going to be a few weeks, and now they've gone ahead and said it's the rest of the entire semester. So nobody's going to be around here, at least until May. And who knows if it's going to go longer. I don't necessarily know if that means that, they shut our pool down just Wednesday night. So I don't know if they'll open the pool, or, the facilities eventually, or if they're just going to keep it. We just don't know what's going to happen. So, every day has kind of been, at first it was like, hey, our pool's still open. You can stay here. You can train if you want. We're not, per the ACC mandate, we're not allowed to coach the kids, but we can hand them a workout and they can go swim on their own, or we can email them a workout and they go swim on their own. So I think up until yesterday, I mean, people were staying here, and we're going to train, and we're going to kind of keep going as much as they could. And then now they've shut our pool down. So that's all changing as well. And a lot of people are heading home. So I think, out of 60 plus athletes on our team, we probably have, I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 at most that are here. It might be less than that. I've been doing my best to stay in contact with everybody, and just find out where they are and what they're doing, and if they're healthy and safe. And, that's become a challenge as well. But, yeah, I mean, in the last week, it's gone from, 30 people being here training for NCAAs to 15 to 5 now. So, and I've suggested, there's no pool here in Charlottesville at all open. So, I've suggested to people to go, if they have an opportunity to go home and train, that's great. But I know that, again, day to day, they may go home and train for 3 days, and then that pool will be shut down. So, it's just, again, it's just changing so drastically and rapidly every day that you just don't know, and so I've gone from sending swim workouts home to now I'm sending run workouts home.
Yeah.
So, and obviously everybody in the country is in the same situation. It's it's interesting to say the least. But it is what it is.
Yeah. So how is, let's say for instance, yesterday, what does your role as a head coach look like, today?
Yeah. It's funny because it changes every day. I think, for me, it's, I'm trying to figure out ways to keep the team together. And even though nobody's here, nobody's together, I'm just coming up with ideas of trying to help people stay motivated. Some sort of, ideas to keep the team doing the same things or keep them together, keep the team's goals in mind for the future. In addition to just making sure everybody's healthy, everybody's safe, figuring out where everybody is. I mean, I spend my phone for the first time, I don't know, in a long time, my phone battery has gone from 100% to 0% over the course of a day because I'm on it constantly texting. We got 60 athletes. So I'm trying to break it up. And I'm like, today I texted all of our seniors and checking in on them. And yesterday it was all of our juniors. And the day before it was all the sophomores. And I'm just going through day to day. And, I'm just, the only way to stay in touch with people right now is Instagram or text message, or I just set up a big group meet for the entire team today to I was just like this message so I know you're okay. I just want to hear. It's hard. It's really difficult, right? Because I'm so used to seeing everybody's face every day. And I'm not going to, who knows how long it's going to be before I see their faces. So I'm going to maybe start doing some Zoom video conferences with, smaller groups of people here and there just to lay eyes on them and, make sure they're all right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess backing up a little, do you feel like you've had time to process at all the fact that NCAAs aren't going to happen?
Yeah. I mean, I personally, and I didn't say this to the team because I didn't want to alarm anybody or have anybody worry in case it didn't get canceled. But I mean, a week before it was canceled, I had already basically come to the conclusion in my own mind that it was going to be canceled. So I was not shocked by it or surprised or taken back or anything. And I was personally kind of ready for that decision to happen. However unfortunate. I also tend to be the type of person who, for better or for worse, I get over things really, really quickly and move on from one thing to the next really quickly. So whether somebody breaks a world record, I'm kind of like, all right, how are we going to break it again? Like the next day I'm ready to go, and vice versa. If something really bad happens, I'm like, all right, well, it is what it is. You can't change it. Let's move on. So for me personally, it's pretty easy. I mean, it's not fun and it's unfortunate. And I would have loved to have seen what our teams could have done at NCAAs, but I mean, at this point, again, you're not going to change it. So I'm over it. And I'm just hopeful for a whatever speedy means return to norm and getting the team ready for the next step. Whatever that is, whether it's trials or whether it's, the next NCAA season, I guess that kind of remains to be seen.
Yeah. Yeah. Has there been anything that's been particularly helpful for you in this, weird time where everything's changing day to day?
I mean, for me, I just kind of relying on my family at the moment. This for me personally, I'm going to spend more time with my family over the next few weeks than I ever have, which is great. There was one person in the country who probably was really happy that NCAAs was canceled. And that's my daughter. She's 7, and she, when I came home that day, and she asked me, she says, "Are you leaving for NCAAs?" And I was like, "No, they canceled it." And she said, "Well, does that mean you're going to be home next week?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll be home." And she was like, "Yes." So, I'm leaning on them quite a bit, although it's madness around the house because they're home. We're having to teach them from home and keep them entertained as well. But, I think that everybody should just, if they're home, enjoy the time with their families, because this is likely, even for a college student, the last time they're going to spend this much time with their family. So, just get as much out of it and enjoy it. And, I don't necessarily think taking a break from swimming is that detrimental to your future. maybe the immediate future it is, but the long-term future, I don't think it'll hurt, right? I think that, and I hope that our athletes, with whatever break they have from the pool, it'll just kind of, when we do get back, they'll be even more motivated than they ever have been before, and they'll be excited to be back. And, it'll provide some interesting training and environments, day to day. But, just trying to stay in touch with everybody keeps me going. And, it's a challenge, but I think that this is also something new for us as coaches too. We have to figure out new ways to do things and new ways to communicate and stay in touch and keep people motivated. So I think as a coach, something that I enjoy about coaching is not necessarily here's your workout, let's go do this, and calling out times. It's how do you motivate kids? How do you keep them? How do you help them to want to work really hard for you every day? So this is just another challenge of, okay, how can we get our team to stay engaged and motivated and excited, even though there's not a whole lot to be excited about at the moment. It's a challenge, but it's something that I'm up for and interested in, and I won't stop.
Mm-hmm. So I think you brought up an interesting point. As a parent, aside from swimming, what has this been like? It's like having your kids are now all online for school, I'm assuming, and it's like getting them to stay active, and the parents staying. What has it been like as you for a parent?
Well, it's only been a couple of days so far, but and my kids, mine are younger. Mine are 10 and 7. So, and they technically have not gone online. They're not necessarily having any formal, schooling going on through the school. They are sending things home. They are sending suggestions home. It's kind of almost, it's a lot like our swimmers trying to stay motivated to continue something when they don't necessarily know when the end of it is going to come. We're just doing our best as parents of our own children to make sure they stay, mentally strong and mentally healthy. And, we're doing math with them and English with them. And I mean, it's taken me back to a long time ago, trying to teach my son how to do, math and algebra and whatever else it is. But, it's interesting to say the least. I'm taking him outside and we're doing PE time. I'll probably post at some point on Instagram the workout I had my son doing yesterday. We had fun, but so, I mean, that's been a challenge as well, but fortunately enough for us, our kids are pretty good and pretty motivated. And I also don't think they quite understand the magnitude of what's going on. I think they feel like, again, it's only been a few days, so I think they kind of feel like they're on spring break. And this is pretty normal, but I was telling my daughter who's 7 and trying to talk to a 7-year-old about this is difficult, but I'm like, this could be months. So not only I can't entertain you every minute of the day. You might have to figure out how to entertain yourself. And she's like, I'm so bored. I'm like, pick up a book. So it's going to be challenging. That's for sure.
Yeah. So aside from, I guess, coaching or time with your kids, and maybe that's everything, but are there ways you've found to entertain yourself?
Well, I mean, I'm going to stick, I guess I have more time to exercise than I ever had before too. So, I've always loved to, exercise or run or lift weights or whatever. So I'll keep doing that. And, I think that a couple other things. One is I want to do something I've never done before or learn something new. Like my daughter has a ukulele. Maybe I'll learn how to play that or the piano. I took piano lessons back when I was like, I don't know, maybe 10 or 12 years old. And I did it for like 6 months. Now I wish I never would have stopped. So maybe I'll, go back to learning how to, play the piano. Other than that, just staying focused on the team and preparing for whenever they do come back. And, I'm just spending a lot of time again with our entire coaching staff. We've got a text thread going back and forth nonstop about different ideas to send out to the team to help, keep that togetherness feeling and to keep us all working together in one direction for a common goal. So that, I think that is going to take a lot of my time as well.
Yeah, definitely. Any closing thoughts?
Oh man, I just hope this hope it ends sooner rather than later. Although I know that none of us can see the end in sight. But I'd say, to everybody out there across the country, just keep your head up and keep grinding and keep, stay in shape. And hopefully when this is all over, we'll be in as good of a place as we possibly can, despite the challenges, and we'll all move forward together.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot for your time, Todd.
Yeah, man. My pleasure.